Are you ready for another comedian? Yeah! There we go! That's that energy, guys! I'm gonna bring him right up to the stage. Very funny man. Clap for him, make him feel welcome. Mr. Jeff Simon. Woo! Bring it on your home.
Chicago, Chicago, it's my kind of tune. Who's from Chicago here?
Went to school. Yeah.
From Chicago, right?
Yeah, I'm from Chicago.
You went to Chicago or whatever, yeah. I had the best meal I ever had was in Chicago last August at Wrigley Field. You ever go to Wrigley Field?
No.
A Wrigley Field hot dog was the best meal I've ever had in my life. I shoved it in, I ate it in like 2 seconds, and I grabbed my daughter who had one bite and shoved that in my mouth. It was just unbelievable. What a great town. It has 2 Frank Sinatra songs. No other city can boast that. All right, I'm starting off great here. I'm a Jew from New York. I grew up in the 50s. My favorite TV show was Leave It to Beaver. My favorite TV mom was June Cleaver, Beaver's mom. She always had an apron on. She always had a cake in her hand. And she always did whatever her husband said. I've been looking for June Cleaver my whole life. I ended up dating Ginger from Gilligan Island types. They spend my money and fuck my best friend. We had 3 baseball teams in New York City in the 50s. Right? 3 baseball teams. People used to fight on street corners over who was the best center fielder in New York City. Willie, Mickey, or the Duke. It was definitely Mickey. And if you don't agree with me, let me know and I'll kick the shit out of you. Funny Mickey. When people think of the 60s, they think of the day Kennedy got shot. The day Kennedy got shot. I'll never forget the day I was in 9th grade. They made an announcement over the loudspeaker that he got shot. Everybody in my algebra class started crying, except me. I was a Republican. Kennedy stole the election in '60. Nixon should have been president. All right. When I think of the '60s, I think of the first time I smoked weed.
Yeah.
It was. I remember saying, "This shit is incredible." How much does an ounce cost? It was like only $40 back then. When I think of the '60s, I think of the first time I jerked off. It was to Ginger from Gilligan's Island. The first time I did Quaaludes was at a Stones concert in the late '60s. This thing that I had this, it was unbelievable. I had this tingling sensation throughout my whole body. And I was never more horny in my whole life. I would have fucked my grandmother that night. And she died in the late 50s. That's unbelievable. Yeah, let's say the 70s, I got married in the 70s to a shiksa. That's a girl who loves to have a good time, who will show you her tits on the first date, and who your mom will hate because she's not a Jew. It was the best deal I ever made because we had 3 kids, none of them got bar mitzvah. I made $100 grand on that deal. We got married by a priest and a rabbi. The priest didn't want to marry us. Until I showed him naked pictures of my 8-year-old nephew. Hey, listen, you do what you gotta do, you know? The 80s were great. The 80s were great because I did a lot of coke. What a great drug. Every Joe killed on coke. Every woman I fucked on coke was very satisfied. I used to play a lot of basketball on coke. If somebody had the ball, I would say, "Give me the fucking ball or I will kill you." I used to get into a lot of fights on coke. I never lost a fight on coke. I was undefeated. My best win was a come from behind victory against my mother-in-law. I was ready to throw in the towel in the 11th round when I told her, "Shut the fuck up, you fat bitch." And she shut the fuck up for the first time in her life. First time I ever got her to shut up. But I hope this comedy thing works out because I'm a pharmacist for Rite Aid. I hate my job. It's living hell. New York City is turning into one big Rite Aid. Whenever you see a new building coming up, you think it's going to be some cool restaurant or a movie theater. It's a Rite Aid or Dwayne Reed. These corporate whores are taking over the whole city. But I hate when these. How much time? In a couple of seconds, or am I?
One more.
Okay. Yeah, in order to work in a drug department at Rite Aid, you have to be on a drug. You have to be on drugs. Like I'm stoned on Xanax. I'm on such a high dose that I'm slurring my speech, I have trouble walking, and I have no short-term memory. I'm always losing my pen, I can't remember any customers' names, and I have to call the help desk like twice a day, because I can't remember the password to get on a computer. Thank you very much!